Alright guys, I'm going to attempt to install this Dometic 320 toilet. This is a Brinkley Z3100. The toilet seat that came with it isn't soft close, so I went ahead and took that off because I'm going to replace that. It's kind of BS that they include that, and for a $400 toilet you don't get a soft closing one, but it is what it is. So let's just jump into it, get started. The reason why I'm installing this as well, the elongated toilet, is because those of you with the Y chromosome appendages, you kind of know what's up. Maybe some of you ladies do, I don't know, but this is mainly for my comfort. First thing we got to do is remove these little caps. There's one on each side. We got to take that nut off. This is to remove the toilet from the flange. Also, turn your water off first. Already did that. Give it a flush. Relieve the pressure from the toilet. Then pop these caps off. There's one. And then it's going to be a 1/2 inch wrench to get these nuts off. So let me get that going. Lighting probably sucks, but get that side. Jump around to the other side here. Okay, we also want to remove this fitting where the water supply comes in at. Probably want to get some rags. I'm going to grab a rag real quick because there's going to be some water left in that. There we go. You probably want to stuff some rags in the pipe once you get this off. Supposedly this flange is, I guess, 1 inch too close to the wall, but just in case, I'm going to bring the other toilet in here, see if it fits. So hopefully, maybe Brinkley started moving this after my model or something. It'll actually be in the right spot, but we'll see. Alright, so here you can see that it's not quite down yet. I'm on the bolts, but we're hitting the wall back here, so we're definitely gonna have to move it. I did buy 2 options. This one, I'll cut the pipe and make it shorter basically so I can move it forward. I'll also have to cut the floor out. If I wanted to, I could also use this offset. This is going to add like 2 inches instead of the 1 inch that you need, but it's another option. The thing with it is, unless the flange is not glued in there, we're going to have to cut the flange off, and that's going to add some other complication too. Alright, now I'm just going to see if the flange is glued, which it feels like it is, because I can't turn it, can't do anything with it. So we're going to go down and we're going to cut that pipe, and what that's going to do is let us pull the flange out from up here, and then we can chop it down a little bit. We'll have to then cut the floor out a little bit so we can move this flange forward and then put it all back together. So this is the pipe you're going to be cutting, this big guy here. This is a 3-inch pipe. We're just going to pick a spot, we're going to cut it off, and we'll go back inside and pull it out the top. We're going to try to cut it as straight as we can, but I'm a 6'4", 250-pound dude, so it's a tight spot for me. Might need a longer blade too. Man, you guys that do YouTube's keeping up with this stupid camera is frustrating. All right, here we go. Okay, it's cut. I would have, if I did this again, I'd probably put those screws back up in there in the flange, do that first. Cut this first instead of that because it was pretty chaotic up there whenever I was cutting it. But like I said, we're learning together. Hopefully I don't have to do this again. Okay, I'm gonna go back in and we're gonna pull this guy out the top. Okay, should just come right on out. There we go. My racks fell out too. Okay, what we're gonna do now is we're gonna cut this. I'm gonna cut about 3 inches off of it, and that's gonna give us some room to where we can move it inside that rubber adapter piece that I had in there. I'll show you that here in a second. But I'm gonna cut 3 inches off, and then we're gonna clean up each end of this pipe as well. It doesn't have to be perfect, just you're gonna need to cut some off so you can move it. You just have to make do. All right, here we go. That was probably more like 2 inches, maybe an inch. It's closer to an inch. We'll see if this fits. If not, you guys will you'll know here in a second. I'm gonna go get my deburring tool. All right, now we're just gonna clean these edges up. I got this deburring tool here. Pretty nifty. All right, we got to do this one. We got to do the one inside as well. I don't know if anybody else gets breathing like an idiot when you do stuff in tight spaces, but I'm one of them if you are. Now we need to make this a little bit bigger so we can move the pipe and the flange and everything forward. I'm just going to use this to sort of trace a hole out here. I think we only got to move it forward 1 inch, but I'm going to give it a little bit extra space than 1 inch here. This doesn't have to be perfect for me either. Something I think would be better, get some blue masking tape and put it down, draw on it. That'll also help you from boogering up the floor too much with the jigsaw. So here's my mark. This is what I'm gonna be cutting out. Let's see what happens. One thing you want to do is make sure there's no cables or wires that are in your way down there. I don't have any. I went on the underside and checked it as well. I think we're good to go. Key with jigsaw, slow and steady. Slow and steady. My hole doesn't look very centered, but I don't think it's really going to matter because it was bigger anyways. There's my new hole. Now I'm gonna get the pipe that we cut off and pulled out from the top, slide it back in there. We're gonna stick it in here, stick the other end on it, and let's see if we can get the flange in the right spot. We're not gonna tighten this down just yet though. We got this piece on. It's loose right now. I just wanted it in there so that we know where bottom is. So we're gonna go back up top and we're gonna move the flange to where we think it needs to be, and hopefully get this toilet mounted. Here's what we're looking like on the top side right now. We can take this flange, push it down. Now, these bolt holes here, these need to be on the sides because that's where the toilet locks into the flange. So we just want to turn this a little bit, push it down. These bolt holes are adjustable, so it doesn't have to be perfectly horizontal. This looks pretty good to me. I'm gonna zip a screw in here. If you look though, we don't have a lot of screw space, so I probably could have made that hole a little bit smaller, but I got an idea for that. We're gonna make a board that we could screw to that's gonna go underneath the flange in the basement. So let me pop a screw in here and let's see if that's enough for the toilet. Guess I need to do 2 screws. There we go. One more thing, make sure this little gasket, the seal, is on the bottom of the toilet before you do this part. That's what keeps the stink out. That's what helps keep the stink out anyways. We're on the bolts. Got a little room to spare in the back here. If you can see. The toilet, it's sitting on the top of that seal right now. It's a little wobbly. It's gonna be like that until you actually tighten these bolts down. But I'm happy with where it's at right now. So I'm gonna go make up that board for screwing the flange the rest of the way down. So here's my idea. I just took a board, cut I think it's a 1 1/4 inch hole, 1.5, or I'm sorry, 4 1/4 inch hole. 4.5 would probably be fine as well. We just need it to be able to fit over that elbow there. And what I'm gonna do is I got these screws that'll just barely stick through this board here. I just need enough to hold it up for me while I go inside and put the other screws in from the top. Let me get that on there. There on a bolt. Almost stuck that screw in my mouth. It's not a good idea. Wearing these nasty gloves. All right, this camera. I'm telling you, you YouTubers, you are crazy for. I don't have the patience to do this every day. All right, let's see if we can get this up here. Probably not. My board might be too big here. Definitely too big of a board. I just stick the jigsaw on it until it looked about right. That looks about right to me. Let's see what happens this time. Yeah, this will work. I just need to move some of these cables out of the way. What's holding that? Zip tie? Yeah, zip tie. Let me get some cutters. I'll be back. I got this on there. There was a zip tie. It was a 1-hole zip tie. It's one of these guys right here. It's got a screw in it. It's a zip tie. So I was holding that back on. I got my board screwed on. These screws are not long enough to go all the way through the floor. It's pretty loose right now. It's just there to hold it in place for me while I go up top and throw the screws in from up there. One thing I did notice though is the screws that came with the flange are too short. They don't make it through this, and we want to be able to get through this to get to this board. So there's a Home Depot run in my future. But I'm gonna get this buttoned up. This is how I want it. I'm gonna get this back on here, get all that tightened down, and then we'll finish up top. I got the toilet on. I got the new screws. Put the bolts back on. I forgot to hit record, so I was sitting in here talking to myself like an idiot, but I guess that happens. Anyways, this is all together now. Next one we got to do is we got to cut this PEX line down, and then we gotta, the old one went to the middle back here, if you can see. We need to come over here now, so I got a PEX crimping kit that we're gonna use to get this guy going. So something else I didn't think about when I cut that PEX pipe was I needed this guy so that I could put it on the other PEX. I fought this for about 5 minutes. I was able to get it out with some channel locks. It's pretty much all I use. I try to take that little tab right there. I don't know if it's gonna focus. Take that little tab with a flathead. You could probably flatten it out, and then this piece will pop up and it'll loosen up. But I just boogered it up with some channel locks enough, and it came off. Now we're gonna get the water line reattached. What I'm gonna do first is I'm actually gonna, so I slid my the PEX clamp on here. I'm gonna go ahead and thread this onto here. First I'm gonna get some Teflon tape on it just to make sure there's no leaks. Let me do that real quick. Teflon's on, fitting's on. Now I'm just gonna make sure this guy is how I want it. Let's see, I've got a little bit too long still. So let me chop this down a little bit. Here we go. Voila. Now we'll get our clamp on here. Let's see if I can do this while holding the camera. Probably not. Son of a bitch. There went all the little clamps. I'm not going to be able to do this while holding the camera, so I'll be back. We got the fitting on there. We should be good to go. Let me turn the water on and hopefully nothing bad happens. Okay, that was a good sound. Let's try the flusher. Looking good. Flusher's a little weak. I'm just holding it halfway down right now. Okay. Push full flush for those of you who want to see it. Front side's a little weak. Back side is better, but whatever. At least my jewels got a little more room now. Let's go make sure there's no leaks. I don't see any drips. This looks happy. Okay, I'm gonna call it done. Sweating now. It was that took about an hour and 45 minutes just because I kept having to run back and forth and get tools, but I think we're good now. So hopefully this helps some of you guys that were wanting to install this toilet like I was, and now you got a little bit of direction on what to expect and look for. There you go. Peace out. Oh, there's so much room for activities now.